this one night. This was when we first started coming to Refuge City. This was when I was 11, probably about almost 5 years ago. I didn't want to go to church. My grandma actually had to drag me in, which I was throwing a fit. I was swearing, I was yelling, I was really upset that I had to go to church. I remember that they had to call the cops. I had to be taken in a cop car, and I pretty much got arrested that night from the church. I couldn't handle my anger. Hi, I'm Ellis Parvin. I'm 15 years old. I've been going to Refuge City Church for 3.5 years, and this is my youth group, Youth Revolution. Even when I was just a little kid, I always believed in God. I was kind of confused about whether he was real, whether this was all like just something that was made up, and it was just kind of really hard to get to know him because he wasn't like there. During my mother's pregnancy, she drank. When I was born with ADHD. It's been pretty hard to deal with that throughout my life. I was also born with severe anger. I'd get aggressive and I wouldn't know how to control my anger. It was a very big struggle that I had to deal with. I went to live with my grandma at 3 months old, me and my brother, because my parents were alcoholics and they were fighting, and we were gonna go into foster care, but my grandma swooped in and took us and raised us. When I was 11 years old, and I was actually arrested from this church because I freaked out. I was just a very angry person. I would get mad at silly things, break things, not be able to treat my anger in the right way. So I needed to go to get treatment. It was called residential treatment. It was very different, and it was a lot of getting used to. It was really uncomfortable at first, like had to adapt to like, this is my life right now and I gotta get the treatment so I can go back home. When I was at the residential treatment, no one ever believed that I could go home and not come back to a place. No one ever believed that my life could actually be changed. I could never get better. I could never really be healed. At the place that I was at, my grandma would always call me and we'd always pray on the phone. Her always being there for me and praying for me and telling me that she loved me, it just made me feel like someone was there for me, that I just felt loved. Whenever she'd pray for me, it always like kind of uplifted me, made me feel like God was kind of there and that I could believe in him. When I was getting the treatment, I'd use that as an inspiration. The place was kind of where it clicked because I started praying. I was kind of experimenting to see if God was really real. It's like, God, please help me to get better so I can go home, because I don't want to spend the rest of me growing up in this place. There were times where I would be screaming at God, like, if you're real, please, just show me something, give me a sign. If you're real, just get me out of this place, get me out of where I am, heal me, please. I started to pray, and I guess I actually did really get to kind of get closer to God while I was there. It really was God that helped me to get the treatment that I needed to get out of that place. My grandma, she was always praying for me. She always had a super strong faith in me. She was always telling me that God's gonna heal you. You're not gonna always be like this. Jesus loves you, he's here for you. I've never been more closer to God. I never actually even thought I could be here right now. I can cope with my anger a lot better. I don't get angry over silly things anymore. I'm not aggressive. I'm healed. I'm healed is what I am. I really do believe that it's because God had a plan on my life and he could use me to change people's lives by drumming up on worship team at the stage. God has given me lots of talents to change lives and to help other people change lives. I feel like he helped me to get out of that because God really had a plan on my life. God has really big grace and mercy. It's absolutely mind-boggling that I'm free right now, and I don't have to struggle with addiction. I don't have to struggle with anger. I don't have to be bound by what Satan was trying to take control of my life. It's just such an amazing feeling to be free and not have to deal with any of that. And I can just focus on God and worship him and feel his presence and all I want to do in the future is just to serve Him. This is what I'd say to someone who's going through their darkest moment and who feels like they can't get out of where they are. Don't ever lose faith. Don't ever think God can't save you. Don't ever think that God's not real, because that's a lie from Satan. And God can get you out of this. He's holding His hand out, waiting for you to take it. I would say just be waiting, because there's a lot of times where I was in a sense of waiting where I would just be really angry at God and just wanting Him to change me now. But there's sometimes where you have to wait and just keep praying and keep your faith and stay strong and stay true to who you are. I would just encourage you to be faithful to Christ and just keep praying, because I remember that I would never stop praying, and it saved me. God really saved me. Something that I would encourage parents and grandparents would be to never lose hope, never give up. Because my grandma, she never gave up on me. I was able to be saved, I was able to be changed, and my life was turned around. And I would just encourage you to keep praying, never lose hope. God will do it in His time.